Vinayak.
Yes, ma'am.
साउंड क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? मेरी सोच
Test, mic test. Can you hear me, sir? Okay.
Good morning, one and all present in this hall as well as online. We have with us Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao and Dr. Mrs. Indumati Rao. Good morning, sir, and good morning, ma'am. Let us begin the day with invocation by Kriti Bhagavat.
सरस्वती नमोस्तुते शारदे विद्याप्रदे सरस्वती नमोस्तुते शारदे विद्याप्रदे सरस्वती नमोस्तुते शारदे विद्याप्रदे सरस्वती नमोस्तुते करधृतवीणा पुस्तक करधृतवीणा पुस्तक करधृतवीणा पुस्तक वरमणिमाला अलङ्कृत करधृतवीणा पुस्तक वरमणिमाला अलङ्कृत सरस्वती नमोस्तुते शारदे विद्याप्रदे सरस्वती नमोस्तुते नरहरिसुत विधिलालित नवमणियुत कंबुगळे नरहरिसुत विधिलालित नवमणियुत कंबुगळे सुरसेवित पदयुगळे सुरसेवित पदयुगळे सुरसेवित पदयुगळे सुधाकरा समाधवळे सुरसेवित पदयुगळे सुधाकरा समाधवळे सरस्वती नमोस्तुते शारदे विद्याप्रदे सरस्वती नमोस्तुते
Thank you, Kriti, for that devotional rendering. Dear all, as we are aware, Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao is completing 89 years and entering 90th year. Sir, on this occasion, on behalf of all of us gathered here and also online, wishing you a very happy birthday. Sir, we request you to kindly cut the cake. Sir, for all of us, indeed a great honor to witness this event. Thank you very much, sir. With that, now, a small break of a minute or so before we start the next program. Now, we are starting with the award ceremony program. Let us start the program by thanking Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao, Dr. Mrs. Indumati Rao, Mr. Sanjay Rao, and all the family members for joining the event and for being with us. We eagerly look forward to this month and day of this year. On this day, we celebrate Professor Rao's love for teaching, education, and empowering students and teachers in promoting science temper and education. That's how we celebrate Professor Rao's birthday. This event is organized to recognize outstanding science teachers for their innovative work in empowering their students. The event is followed by a popular science talk, visit to BR galleries, and chemical heritage exposition, and a musical program by a well-known musician from from India, well-known musician from our country. On behalf of the C.N.R. Rao Education Foundation, I welcome our chief guest, Professor G.U. Kulkarni, President, JNCASR. Welcome you, sir. On behalf of C.N.R. Rao Education Foundation, I also extend welcome to our administrative officer, Mr. Jaideep Dev. Welcome you. On behalf of the C.N.R. Rao Education Foundation, I extend warm welcome to all the guests, selection committee members, speaker, Professor R. Sukumar, awardees and their families, teachers and students to JNCASR. We have students coming in and around Bangalore and also far away from North Karnataka, from Lakshmishwar School, and also founders are also with us, Mr. Ishwar. I also extend warm welcome to JNC community and to one and all present here in the hall and online. With that, I request Mr. A.N. Jayachandra to brief us about the vision and objectives of the C.N.R. Rao Education Foundation.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you, Professor Govindraju. Respected Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao, Mrs. Indumati Rao, President Professor Kulkarni, past presidents Professor V. Krishnan and Professor M.R.S. Rao who are online, members of the C.N.R. Rao Education Foundation, Suchitra, Sanjay and Suguna, Professor T. Govindraju, Chair of the ETU, invited speaker for the day and the distinguished scientist, Professor R. Sukumar, the members of the jury of today's award, Dr. Srikanteshwar Swami and Professor Ramaswamy are here, or Dr. Dwarkanath is also here, Professor Bhatt, Mr. Ishwar, the Administrative Officer of JNCASR, all the officers, teachers and young friends from various schools of the state, my colleagues and the young children. I am sure that Dr. Karthik, Professor Ganesh and Dr. Avantika, who are the members of our foundation, are also listening or online witnessing this program. So for me, it's a great privilege to speak about the C.N.R. Rao Education Foundation. The foundation, established in the year 2005, envisioned promoting quality science education in the country. I am sure you will all agree that this cause of nation building through education, particularly science education, is one of the unique features and has far-reaching outcomes. As much there is a generosity in looking forward to contributing to this cause, Professor Rao and family very constructively contributed their personal earnings for these activities to achieve the objectives of the foundation. In real terms, the charity began in their home. The activities of the C.N.R. Rao Education Foundation include conducting science outreach programs throughout India, especially in the rural areas, to ignite young minds. In addition to this, the foundation, in association and collaboration with the Education Technology Unit of the JNCASR, supports various outreach activities throughout the year conducted in this Hall of Science. In recognizing the dedicated science teachers at school and pre-university levels in the country, the foundation instituted prizes for outstanding science teachers. This is a national award. This award was instituted in the year 2005. For the last 17 years, about 35 talented science teachers in the country were identified and they have been awarded. Each award program also includes a popular science lecture to the young students and teachers, and today we are in this program. In all these endeavors, JNCASR has been supporting the foundation in each and every work that the foundation has carried out. In addition, the foundation has instituted a national award to recognize the researchers who have contributed to the field of frontier areas of chemistry. Every year, the foundation chooses a new area in the chemistry. This year, the award is for the research in biophysical chemistry. The award will be announced in a few days. Eminent scientists from premier institutions all over the country are recipients of this prestigious award. The foundation encourages enthusiastic and talented young students taking up science subjects at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. In this regard, various prizes and awards have been instituted in various institutions and universities all over the country. Currently, the foundation has identified 2 remote rural places in the country, one in the Himalayas, which is Gangoli Hut in Uttarakhand state, and other Lakshmeshwar in Karnataka, where Hall of Science has been built with the support of the foundation, along with other infrastructure for conducting various science education and outreach programs. Annually, the foundation organizes science outreach activities, inviting eminent scientists from various parts of the country to interact with the young students in these remote areas. In order to promote science education among the least developed countries, the foundation has instituted annual award for an outstanding scientist from a least developed country. Okay, so this is an international award, and this award is through the World Academy of Sciences, TWAS. Recently, a unique scholarship program has been promoted by the foundation for high school students in school Chandan Lakshmeshwar, Karnataka, which is again funded by the foundation. This is started in the year 2020. There is another interesting program of the foundation, which is called the Student Mentoring Program, which inculcates the habit of self-study among the disadvantaged students and to make students self-reliant. The long-term objective of this program is to give the students an opportunity to witness how research is conducted in premier institutes, which inspires them towards creative endeavors. In a recent development, the C.N.R. of Education Foundation supported Sagar Science Forum, a remote village in Karnataka, to conduct many workshops annually for science teachers and to have activity-based physics and chemistry programs for the children. This is mostly aimed at promoting science education among the girl students. The foundation has plans to extend its wings to promote this objective of promoting science education, and pins hope on the new generation of the trustees continuing the activities with the new ideas and adding new flavor, but keeping the objectives as it is. Not the least, every year the Teacher Award is followed by a feast of music rendered by the greatest musicians of this great country. This time, the C.N.R. family has dedicated this program to the JNC community for their support during the last 3 decades. Thank you for your generous thing, Mani. I should add a short note on my personal account. I always wonder how Professor C.N.R. Rao found time, energy, and money to think about this great cause, and I offer my personal pronouns to Professor C.N.R. Rao and Mrs. Indumati Rao and all the members of their family for this wonderful philanthropy. On my personal account, I am very grateful to them for providing me with this opportunity to be a part of this wonderful cause. And very importantly, on behalf of all of you, my respectful wishes to Professor Rao on reaching this unusual goal of 90 glorious years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jayachandra, for briefing us various activities of the foundation. Now I request Dr. Mrs. Indumati Rao to give remarks.
Check.
First of all, I would like to welcome
Mike.
First of all, I would like to welcome all the people here who have gathered, enthusiastically accepted our invitation to be with us. Today is a very, very special birthday. My husband, Professor C.N.R. Rao, completes his 89th birthday. Actually, his actual birthday is on the 30th due to various limitations. Tomorrow being the Bakrid and holiday, and day after some other problem, we decided to hold it today. And in schools, teachers, awardees have all responded very positively and very much here. I now request our chief guest, Professor G.U. Kulkarni, President of our wonderful center. And we are indeed very happy that Professor Nagaraja, our former president, is also here. I request you to take. Please, please. Please take the chair. Please. It's indeed an honor to have both of you here. Today, there is a slight change. First of all, I would like to thank JNCASR for conducting this auspicious day every year for 17 years, flawlessly and with such great elan. It was a great pleasure to witness and be a part of it. We were just onlookers, and as an onlooker, I can tell you, it filled my heart with pride, both for the function and as well as for our magnificent center. This year onwards, our foundation has taken over conducting this program. This is the first year, and significantly, it is his 89th birthday going on, entering his 90th birthday. And we hope to follow in the footsteps of our previous presidents and the current president, Professor Kulkarni, whom I know very intimately and very well. He's such a great organizer and does things so quietly and behind the scenes. One would wonder how these wheels are turning. I want to learn the grace and way of conducting matters from him, even though he's years and years younger to me. So, and I find that we have all the selection committee members. Another feature of this is they have remained with us all through these years. Welcome and thank you very much. We have 2 awards, one for teachers teaching in Canada, in our state, and then one for all India teachers. So both have been very successfully, they have been able to select very deserving and innovative teachers. Let me add one thing here. This prize is not for academic excellence. I know they are good teachers. It is for their other activities, innovative activities, which have made their students blossom into society changes. They are the change makers. We cannot say our society is bad, we are that, we are this. We have to be the change makers. And these teachers, over the years, are training students as well as their colleagues. Thank you very much. And with these words, I request Professor Kulkarni to award the two teachers. First, the Kanda teachers from our state. He is from Nelamangala, very close by. And then after his presentation, we felicitate the one from the north. So both of you, thank you so much, Professor Kulkarni. Okay, I won't take more time. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your kind remarks and also addressing the students and teachers gathered here. It is now time for announcing the outstanding teachers awardees. As already mentioned by ma'am, there are two awards. One award goes to teacher from within Karnataka, and the another award goes to teacher from anywhere in India. In fact, teachers from almost every part of India have been recognized with this prestigious award. The award has become very popular over the years since its inception in 2015, as mentioned. The foundation this year, the foundation has received large number of applications from across the country. In fact, many are good applications, but there are only two awards. The committee had a tough task to make the decision. So foundation would like to thank the committee members led by Professor V. Krishnan, Professor Y.S. Ramasamy, Dr. Gururaj Karjagi, Mr. P.G. Dwarakanath, Dr. S.D. Srikanteshwara Swamy, Professor N.S. Vidadiraja, and Mr. A.N. Jayachandra for their help in selecting the awardees. Notably, as also mentioned by ma'am, all the award, all the selection members, all the distinguished members of this committee have been associated with the foundation since the inception of the award. For this year, the Outstanding Teacher Awards within Karnataka goes to Shri Shashikumar B.S. And the teacher from anywhere in India goes to Shri Satyapal Singh. Please join the foundation in congratulating both the awardees. Now, it's time for reading the citation for Shri Shashikumar B.S. Shri Shashikumar B.S. is a science teacher at the Government High School, Elekatanalli, Nelamangala Taluk, Bengaluru Rural District for over 2 decades. He has motivated and guided students to work on variety of science projects and won prizes at the state and national levels. The notable among them are the National Award for Teachers in 2018, which he received from the President of India, the Rotary National Builder Award, and also many state and district level awards for best teacher. Sri Shashikumar has conducted many science outreach activities for students and teachers. He has developed an Android app that can also be used offline for the benefit of students in rural areas, and also created several multimedia materials and distributed them to rural students. He worked as a master trainer in science training programs and as a blog. Shri Shashikumar made several contributions towards school development, bringing dropout students back to school. In addition, he has conducted many science webinars for teachers and delivered many scientific lectures. The C.N.R. Rao Education Foundation takes great pleasure in honoring Shri Shashikumar B.S. for his dedicated work for the cause of science education. Now, I request our President, Professor G. Kulkarni, along with Professor Nagaraja, to honor and felicitate Shri Shashikumar. May I request Shashikumar to come on dais? So there are some, another one. Thank you, Shashikumar, and also congratulations. Now, the citation for Mr. Satyapal Singh. Mr. Satyapal Singh is a science master in Government Senior Secondary School, Baroli, Rewari, Haryana, for over 2 decades. He has made notable contributions to science education. He has motivated and guided students to work on a variety of science projects and won prizes at the state and national levels. He is the recipient of the Haryana State Teacher Award in the year 2021. Mr. Satyapal Singh has made numerous contributions to the popularization of science. Notably, he has written 5 books on science, organized over 100 events for the science promotion program in Rewari district, and has given popular science talks to teachers in science workshops and seminars. He also worked as a master trainer in mobile science van, which has visited over 100 schools in the Rewari district and New Mewat for science promotion program. He created 3 science labs and 1 maths lab at his own expenses. The C.N.R. Education Foundation takes great pleasure in honoring Mr. Satyapal Singh for his dedicated work for the cause of science education. Now, I request our President, Professor G. Kulkarni, and also Professor Nagaraja to honor Mr. Satyapal Singh. Thank you, Mr. Satyapal Singh, and also congratulations. On behalf of C.N.R. Education Foundation, I would like to thank Professor G. Kulkarni and Professor Nagaraja for doing the honors. Now it is time to hear from our awardees. May I now request Shri Shashikumar B.S. to give his response.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಬೆಳಗಿನ ಶುಭೋದಯ. ಗುರು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಗುರು ವಿಷ್ಣು ಗುರುದೇವ ಮಹೇಶ್ವರ ಗುರು ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ತಸ್ಮೈ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುವೇ ನಮಃ. ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಭಾರತ ರತ್ನ ಹಾಗೂ ಪದ್ಮಭೂಷಣ ಪುರಸ್ಕೃತರಾದಂತಹ C.N.R. ಸರ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಮನಗಳನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ, ಹಾಗೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಆದಂತಹ ಇಂದುಮತಿ ರಾವ್ ಅವರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ನಮನಗಳನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ ನಾನು 2 ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ಆಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ಗೆ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಟಿಗೆ ನನ್ನ ಅನಂತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಈ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೈಸನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ C.N.R. ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾದಂತಹ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ, ನಾನು ಶಶಿಕುಮಾರ್ B.S. ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಪ್ರೌಢಶಾಲೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಯಾತನಹಳ್ಳಿ, ನೆಲಮಂಗಲ ತಾಲೂಕು, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನಗರದಿಂದ ಸುಮಾರು 65 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ತುಂಬ ರಿಮೋಟ್ ಏರಿಯಾ. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು 2011ನೇ ಇಸ್ವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದೆ, ಹೊಸಕೋಟೆ ತಾಲೂಕಿಂದ ವರ್ಗಾವಣೆಯಾಗಿ. ನನಗೆ ಮೊದಲಿನಿಂದನೂ ಕೂಡ ಬೋಧನೆ ಅಂದರೆ ತುಂಬ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ವಿಷಯ. ನಾನು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ಕಲಿಸಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕನಾಗಿ ತರಗತಿ ಕೋಣೆಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ. ಸೊ ಈ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ವಿಷಯದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ನಾನು ಮೋಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ವಾತಾವರಣ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಅನುಕೂಲತೆಗಳು ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಕೊರತೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಕೊರತೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿತಂತಹ ಕೆಲವರು ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಬೋಧನೆಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗುವಂತಹ ಏನು ರಾಸಾಯನಿಕ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಬೇಕೋ, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಉಪಕರಣಗಳು ಬೇಕೋ, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಂಗ್ರಹ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ನನ್ನದೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನು ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡೆ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಕೆಲವು NGOಗಳನ್ನು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಏನು ಮೇಜ್ ಬೇಕು, ಡೆಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಬೇಕು, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಕೂಡ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ 2013ನೇ ಇಸ್ವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸುಸಜ್ಜಿತವಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯವನ್ನು ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪ್ರತಿನಿತ್ಯ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ತರಗತಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ನಾನು ತರಗತಿಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ತುಂಬ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ವಿಷಯ. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ರಯೋಗಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡದೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಉಪಕರಣಗಳನ್ನ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ರಾಸಾಯನಿಕ ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಹೆಸರುಗಳನ್ನ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವುಗಳ ಅಣುಸೂತ್ರಗಳನ್ನು ಕಲಿತಾರೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಬೋಧನೆಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಕ್ತು, ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಈ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕಲಿಸಿದಂತಹ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಪ್ರಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಕಲಿಯೋದು ಅಲ್ದಲೇ ತಾವೇ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮೂಲ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮ ಉನ್ನತ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಮತ್ತು PhD ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದೊಂದು ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ವಿಷಯ. ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕನಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ 2018ನೇ ಇಸ್ವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ 6 ಜನ ಏನು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಡೆಮಾನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು. ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ಗೆ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯವನ್ನು ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮೂಲ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ವಿಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದಂತಹ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ 2019ನೇ ಇಸ್ವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಮಟ್ಟದ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಪುರಸ್ಕೃತ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಭಾಜನ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಯಿತು. ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ಆ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿನ ಹಂಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಮಯ ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ 2019 ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ಲಿ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಬಂತು. 2020 ಮಾರ್ಚಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಆಯಿತು. 2020 ಮತ್ತು 21 ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ಇಯರಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ವಿದ್ಯಾಗಮ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತು. ನಾವು ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಮನೆಯ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಹೋಗಿ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ವಿ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಂದೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ರೇಟರಿ ಕಿಟ್ಟನ್ನು ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು 10-15 ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು 4-5 ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ಒಂದು ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನ ಅಥವಾ ಮನೆಯ ಮುಂಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಹಜಾರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನ ಕುಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಕಲಿಯಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕನಿಷ್ಠ ಕಲಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಉಂಟಾಗಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ ನನ್ನದೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯೋಗಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನು, ಒಂದು ಕಿಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗನ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಪ್ರಯೋಗಶಾಲೆಯನ್ನು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಸ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದ ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಯಿತು. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಬಂದು ತಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿದ್ರಿ, ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೇವಲ ತರಗತಿ ಕೋಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಪಠ್ಯಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಪ್ರಕೃತಿನಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುವಂತಹ ಹಲವಾರು ವಿದ್ಯಮಾನಗಳನ್ನು ಹಾಗೂ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ತರಗತಿಯಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಬಂದು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶನೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಹಾಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಹೋದ್ಯೋಗಿ ಮಿತ್ರರು ಕೂಡ ಸಹಕಾರವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಏನು ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಅದು ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನ ಅರ್ಪಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿ ನನಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ನನ್ನ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿದೆ. ನನ್ನ ಸರ್ವಿಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ಮೂಲ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಣೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಆಸಕ್ತಿಯಿಂದ ನಾನು ಇನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಶಶಿಕುಮಾರ್, ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. Now may I request Shri Satyapal Singh to give his remark.
जय माँ सरस्वती। सर्वप्रथम मैं नमन करता हूँ उस महापुरुष को जिन्होंने विज्ञान के प्रचार प्रसार में न केवल भारत में बल्कि पूरे विश्व में भारत के नाम को बड़ा ऊंचा किया। मैं C.N.R राव जी को प्रणाम करता हूँ। माता जी यहाँ विराजमान हैं, उनको प्रणाम करता हूँ। मंच पर उपस्थित इस फाउंडेशंस के चेयरमैन्स, दोनों चेयरमैन्स को नमन। सभी उपस्थित मंचासीन जो कमेटी, सिलेक्शन कमेटी के मेंबर्स, उपस्थित महान वैज्ञानिक सभी, और माता जो मातृशक्ति है वो यहाँ इस हॉल में उपस्थित भारत के निर्माता, छोटे छोटे बच्चे, उन सभी को नमन करते हुए मैं अपना संबोधन शुरू करता हूँ। कोशिश करता हूँ कि मेरी जो हिंदी है आपको समझ आएगी। मैं इस पुरस्कार को नोबेल पुरस्कार से कम नहीं समझता। मेरे लिए ये पुरस्कार नोबेल पुरस्कार ही है, क्योंकि इस महान शख्सियत के दर्शन मात्र से ही एक विज्ञान का विद्यार्थी अपने आप के जीवन को सफल मानता है। तो मैं भी अपना जीवन सफल मान रहा हूँ। इस प्रेरणा स्रोत, इस युग पुरुष, महापुरुष के दर्शन मात्र से मेरा जीवन चरितार्थ हो गया। मैं अपने आप को सौभाग्यशाली मानता हूँ कि मुझे यह अवसर प्राप्त हुआ। जिन्होंने लगभग 50 बुक्स राइट की, लिखी, लेखक के तौर पर लगभग 80 से ज़्यादा यूनिवर्सिटीज़ ने डॉक्टरेट की मानद उपाधि से सम्मानित किया। 1700 से अबाउट रिसर्च पेपर्स इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे पब्लिश हुए। तो उस महान शख्सियत को भारत रत्न भी कम है। मैं अपने दिल से मानता हूँ कि नोबेल पुरस्कार इस सर को मिलना चाहिए था और ये डिजर्व भी करते हैं। तो ऐसी शख्सियत के इस कम प्रांगण में आकर के मैं अपने आप को गौरवान्वित महसूस कर रहा हूँ। मैंने जब 96 में पढ़ाना शुरू किया, टीचिंग शुरू की मैंने, तो प्राइवेट स्कूल में ज्वाइन किया। घर आकर मैं 52 स्टूडेंट्स को टीच करता था गांव में। घर वाले मुझसे कहते थे कि पैसे तो एक भी नहीं देते ये विद्यार्थी। मैंने कहा मैं इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, मुझे ये पैसे आगे मिलेंगे। और जब उनको जॉब में देखता हूँ और उनसे सम्मान पाता हूँ तो वो पैसे मुझे आज मिल रहे हैं। मुझे बहुत ही, मैं अपने आप को गौरवान्वित महसूस कर रहा हूँ कि इस लायक मुझे कमेटी मेंबर्स ने समझा, यहाँ आने का इनवाइट किया, और मैं पहली बार कर्नाटक आ रहा हूँ। और ये शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में मैं एक विज्ञान विद्यार्थी हूँ, और उस विज्ञान विद्यार्थी की वजह से ही मैं आपके बीच यहाँ कर्नाटक में आ पाया, क्योंकि उस विज्ञान से सीख करके मैंने जो कुछ सीखा, उनके प्रचार प्रसार में मैंने अब तक 27 इयर्स टीचिंग हो गया मेरे को पढ़ाते हुए, 21 इयर्स इन द गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स एंड 6 इयर्स इन द प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशंस में। मेरी प्रयोगशाला लेबोरेटरी मेरे चारों ओर होती है, मेरी टीएलएम चारों ओर होती है। मैं कोई बहुत ही कॉस्टली टीएलएम का यूज़ नहीं करता, मैं अपने सराउंडिंग्स में बहुत सारी चीज़ें अपने आप सर्च कर लेता हूँ और उनसे ही बच्चों को रिलेट करके मैं पढ़ाता हूँ। थोड़ा सा मैं थोड़ा सा बता देता हूँ कि मुझे 2021 का स्टेट अवार्ड मिला हरियाणा में, और मैंने 5 किताबें लिखी है, ईवीएस 3rd, 4th, 5th और 6th से 8th क्लास की साइंस मॉड्यूल्स की बुक्स लिखी है। साइंस एग्जीबिशंस और नेशनल चिल्ड्रन साइंस कांग्रेस में मैं हर ईयर्स बच्चों को पार्टिसिपेट डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे तो करवाता ही हूँ। 15 टाइम्स मैंने स्टेट में पार्टिसिपेट करवाया बच्चों को साइंस एग्जीबिशंस में और नेशनल चिल्ड्रन साइंस कांग्रेस में। इसके अलावा मैं लगभग 2 से 4 घंटे एक्स्ट्रा क्लासेस लेता हूँ स्कूल ऑफ होने के बाद में, और उसका रिजल्ट ये रहा कि 50 स्टूडेंट selected in the NMMS scholarships and every student got 48,000 rupees गवर्नमेंट उनको प्रोवाइड करती है। मैंने अपने खर्चे से 3 साइंस लैब, अब तक मेरा ट्रांसफ़र 3 स्कूलों में हुआ है, 3 साइंस लैब मैंने अपने खर्चे पर बनाई है। उसका जो फर्नीचर है या उसमें जो डायग्राम है, सेल्फ डायग्राम जो है उनको मैं सेल्फ करता हूँ, ड्रा करता हूँ सर। और इसके अलावा सर मैं थोड़ा सा जल्दी उसको, मैंने दीक्षा ऐप के ऊपर वीडियो बनाए हैं जो पूरे स्टेट में कंडक्ट हो रहे हैं। चाकली टाइप का कंटेंट मैंने पूरे स्टेट के लिए बनाया हुआ है। और इसके अलावा जो साइंस मॉडल्स मेकिंग वीडियो है वो सबसे अधिक मेरे हरियाणा स्टेट के अंदर जो है पब्लिश हो चुके हैं। यूट्यूब चैनल मैंने बच्चों के लिए बनाया है, ऑनलाइन क्विज मैंने बच्चों के लिए बनाई है। और इसके अलावा 100 जो स्कूल है उसमें मैंने साइंस मोबाइल वैन लेकर के प्रचार प्रसार किया साइंस का। और इसके अलावा मैं म्यूजिक्स में भी इंटरेस्ट रखता हूँ सर। मैंने स्टेट लेवल पर बच्चों को म्यूजिक सिखा करके वो स्टेट लेवल पर परफॉर्म किया। मैं जो स्टेट विनर रहा हूँ गेम्स एंड टॉयज़ एंड गेम्स के अंदर। तो सर ये थोड़ा समय कम है, इसलिए मैं अपना जो है ना वक्तव्य यहीं पर समाप्त करता हूँ। बहुत कुछ बोलने के लिए था लेकिन समय थोड़ा कम है, इसलिए सभी का धन्यवाद।
Wish we had more time for you. Nevertheless, thank you very much for your kind response. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Please join me again in congratulating both the awardees and their schools, students, and also their families. On the dais, we have Professor G.U. Kulkarni, current president of the center. And we also have Professor Nagaraja, who was former president. And the foundation would like to place on record and also thanks to our former president, Professor M.R.S. Rao, and also Professor V. Krishnan. In fact, Professor V. Krishnan, our former president, has been associated with the foundation and also the award, this particular Outstanding Teacher Awards selection committee. Since its inception from 2015, we would like to thank Professor V. Krishnan, on behalf of the foundation. Please give a big hand. Thank you. With that, now I request Professor G.U. Kulkarni to give his remarks. Sir.
Good morning.
Professor Rao, Madam Rao, Mr. Sanjay, Professor Ganesh's family, Professor Govindaraju, distinguished guests, faculty colleagues, teachers, students, young students, admin staff, officers, administrative officer. Good morning to you all, and also welcome to this event on behalf of the Center, JNCASR. This is a very momentous occasion. It's so vibrant as we witness here, and it's a privilege and honor to be associated with this event, Outstanding Science Teachers Award 2022. And this is on the occasion of 89th birthday of Professor C.N.R. 2 more days to go. Congratulations, Professor Rao. If you can see me in the camera. And we all pray God Almighty that you be blessed with many, many years of healthy and active life. As we all know, Professor Rao and Madam Rao, through this C.N.R. Education Foundation, is making all-out efforts, great efforts, to promote the science education in the country, by way of conducting many, many outreach programs across the state, across the country, and I have been part of many of these. And as part of this activity, one important component is to recognize teachers, science teachers, at the school and pre-university levels. This is a very noble initiative to recognize those extraordinary minds who motivate young minds. In my own experience, it's my science teacher and the art teacher who made a difference all to my life, all the difference they brought to my life. And then on, for the last 36 years, I've been having a great teacher and a mentor, Professor C.N.R. himself, who, joined by Madam Rao, has also motivated me, guided me, taught me many, many things, almost on daily basis. It has been a great, great honor. I'm blessed with to have their company and their guidance. Once again, thank you, Raos, for this. For the last 17 years, this program has been running successfully, and as Madam Rao mentioned, this year, C.N.R. Education Foundation itself is entirely organizing this event. On behalf of the center, I congratulate the 2022 awardee, Shri B.S. Shashikumar, Assistant Master Science, Government High School, Nelmangala, Taluk, Bengaluru Rural District, Shri Satyapal Singh, Science Master, Government Senior Secondary School, Baroli, Haryana. And also, hearty welcome to their family. Some of the family members are here. Hearty welcome to them as well. I see in the audience our dear friend, Mr. Ishwar, Mrs. Ishwar, Mr. Chandan. We are very proud to be associated with your school, Chandana School, and very nice that you are with us here. Along with, I see people from various schools around. Thank you for coming by. And this program is followed by, as usual, by a popular outreach lecture, and this time it is by Professor R. Kumar. Thank you very much for accepting and coming over. Hearty congratulations once again to all the awardees. It's quite a sizable thing, as you see now, it's certificate, citation. I think there's a good cash prize also in the envelope there. So everything is done by C.N.R. Education Foundation. And I wish center could do more. Professor Nagaraj has seen it all, and I believe Professor M.R.S. and V. Krishnan are online participating. We have done better in the past working with the Education Foundation, but because of the new framework from the Government of India, we could do more. That's all I can say in the years to come. But for now, it's quite an honor and privilege to host this event on this campus. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind remarks and also support for this event and all the activities of the foundation. So we have come to end of the program, this part of the program. Now, Vinayak will give, Mr. Vinayak Pattar will give vote of thanks. Vinayak.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay, thank you. On behalf of C.N.R. Education Foundation, we express a grateful thanks to Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, where we have this, the hosting this program as a science outreach program. Our sincere thanks to President JNCASR, Professor G.U. Kulkarni, for his support, guidance, and organizing this event. I request Professor T. Govindraju to present our token of gratitude from C.N.R. Education Foundation to Professor G.U. Kulkarni and Professor V. Nagaraj. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I request Professor T. Govindraju to present our token of gratitude from C.N.R. Education Foundation to Professor V. Nagaraja, former President of JNCSR. Yeah, let me congratulate to the awardees, Mr. Shashikumar and Mr. Satyapal Singh. Okay, our thanks are due to the award selection committee members who are present here and some of you are in online. And our thanks, we express our thanks to all the outstanding Science Teacher Prize previous awardees who are present online and few are here, present here. And we thank the invitees for the gracing the function who are present online and as well as offline. And we wish to express our sincere thanks to Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao, Dr. Indumati Rao and family, all the governing council members of the C.N.R. Education Foundation. We thank the administrative officer and administration for the providing infrastructure facilities to host this event. Finally, I thank Ms. Kruti for the wonderful invocation song and my colleague Praveen, Dilip, Munegoda, Peer, security team, garden team and dining hall team. And all the technical teams to make this event successful without any technical glitches. And thank you all once again. And we'll have a short tea break. And I request all the online participants stay tuned. And offline participants join after the tea. Okay. At 11:30, exactly at 11:30. And we have a wonderful and exciting lecture by eminent scientist, Professor R. Sukumar is here, and he's going to talk about the extraordinary elephants. Thank you. And listen, everyone, we have 20 minutes break, tea break. And Professor Rao cut that cake, you know. We have that cake also. We'll eat it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, please exit from the back side. Yeah. Yeah. We'll go there. Tune ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ.
Mic test. Hello, mic test. Hello, mic test. Hello, mic test. Huh? Hello, mic test.
Let's check. Hello. Hello. Mic ಇದೆ ಬರೋದು. Hello. Check. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
Check. ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? Hello. Check.
ಜೋತ್ ಸಾಕಾ?
Okay. Welcome back. We have many exciting programs lined up today. One we already witnessed this morning. Now we are going to have an exciting science popular science lecture from none other than Professor Raman Sukumar. Briefly, Professor Raman Sukumar is an honorary professor for ecology and national science chair at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He is internationally known for his pioneering research on the ecology, behavior, and conservation of Asian elephants. His doctoral research on the interaction between elephants and people was published as a monograph by Cambridge University Press in the year 1989. Since then, his work has covered topics as varied as reproductive biology, molecular genetics, evolutionary history, population dynamics, landscape ecology, movement ecology, and the cultural history of elephants. His research interests also extend to the tropical forest ecology and climate change. Professor Sukumar is the author of 4 books on the elephants and over 200 scientific papers. Professor Sukumar is the recipient of several national and international awards, the most notable ones being the International Cosmos Prize from Japan in the year 2006. Professor Sukumar is a fellow of the 3 major science academies of India and the World Academy of Sciences. He is also contributed for the 3 decades to the work of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which we popularly know as IPCC, that also shared the Nobel Prize in 2007, and the Gulbenkian Prize for Humanity in 2022. With this very brief introduction, now I request Professor Sukumar to deliver his talk on the extraordinary elephant. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and very good morning to everyone. It's a great honor to be asked to deliver this talk on the occasion of Professor C.N.R. Rao's 89th birthday. And I'm especially honored because Mrs. Rao sent a personal note to me requesting me to deliver this talk. We all know about Professor Rao's extraordinary energy and vision in developing science and in promoting science education in the country. But to me personally and to my family, some of the fondest memories that we have are the visit of Professor Rao, Mrs. Rao, and the entire family, who are all here, to Mudumalai 35 years ago in May 1988. And I could see how thrilled Professor Rao was, Mrs. Rao, and the family was to see elephants in the wild. I think we even had a charging elephant in one of the places encounter. But I then understood that Professor Rao's interest is not just the science, but it's much more multifaceted. It extends into nature, and during a travel that we were together from Europe to India, I learned that Professor Rao has actually visited wildlife sanctuaries, so many other natural places around the world in all the continents, in Africa, South America, you name it, and he was telling me about all the places that he has visited. So extraordinary, and that brought me great cheer to know that of his great passion and love for nature and for wildlife. Now today's talk is about the extraordinary elephant, and you can see this elephant on the screen here, and it's only a Bengali elephant. This is in West Bengal. Only a Bengali elephant can do this. I don't know how many of you all are Bengalis here, but here is a wild elephant, a tuskless male in full must. It is ransacking a bus. He's looking for food. He's looking for food stuff, and all the passengers have got down and they have sort of retreated to the back to be safe. And the extraordinary thing about this scene was that nobody was hurt. This elephant just did what he wanted to do, maybe got an orange or a banana or whatever, and then he went on its way. This journey of the elephant, the elephant is a part of our ethos, our cultural ethos, for many, many millennia, which I will talk about. But this is a story that began about 60 million years ago. I don't want you to go into all these details of all the different branches and so on. 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs became extinct because of a collision of the Earth with an asteroid. And soon after that, the mammals, what we call the warm-blooded creatures, they started proliferating. And the story of the elephant began 60 million years ago. And the present-day elephant that we know in Africa as well as in India or Asia actually evolved in Africa. The ancestors of the Indian elephant, what we call elephas, evolved about 6 million years, 5 to 7 million years ago in Africa, and migrated out of Africa to all other continents eventually, with the exception of Australia and Antarctica. So the elephant is in very truly a pan-global animal. It has occupied all the continents except for Australia and for Antarctica. Now I will not bore you with, I'll show you lots of wonderful pictures as we go on, but just today we are in the era of climate change. And for all of you young students here, it is very important for you to understand the importance of climate change, both what we are doing today and what has happened in the past. In the past, in the last 2.6 million years, we call the Pleistocene, when the climate has changed naturally, nothing to do with humans. This is called the glacial and interglacial cycles. The earth becomes colder, there's more ice formation, then the earth becomes warmer, the snow melts, the ice melts, the glaciers melt, and the sea levels rise. So this has been going on, these cycles that you can see over here. And the evolution of humans, elephants, and everything has been driven by these climatic events. And elephants were able to, and even humans were able to migrate out of Africa and come into Asia, and the elephants too, during favorable climatic periods, when the sea levels were somewhat lower, and they were able to cross over from Africa into Asia. Okay, now coming to the elephant itself, it's very obvious to us that the elephant is very large in body size. It's the most obvious feature. And it's proboscis. Proboscis means, it's the trunk. It functions like a hand. And in the Vedas, the Mrigahasti, there is a reference in the Rig Veda to this creature called a Mrigahasti, an animal with a hand. And later Veda also recognized there are only 3 creatures on this earth that possess a hand. Humans, the apes, and the elephant, significantly. So the recognition of the versatility of the use of the trunk is something that was known since ancient times. And we have had this very historical relationship between elephants and people in India. And you must have seen the film or heard about the film called Elephant Whisperers, which won the Oscar very recently. This is from Mudumalai. This was taken at Mudumalai, which I had the pleasure of showing Professor Rao and his family 35 years ago. And I have had a close association with that area for us ever since then. And this picture is taken there. But the antecedents of this relationship between elephants and people go back at least 4,000 years. And this is something I'll refer to later when talking about the conservation. Now, we all come from families, we all live in families, and elephants also live in families. There are many similarities and there are some differences. So here you see a very small family. You see a mother, and this mother is probably between 30 and 40 years old from what I can make out. And she's got a little son. I know that because he had a small little tusk. At about a year and a half, the male start developing a small tusk, and then it starts coming out. If I remember correctly, you don't see it in the picture. So he's a son about 1 to 2 years of age. Okay. Sometimes you get what I call a joint family. So you get 2 elephants, adult. This is an adult, this is an adult. This is a child of one of them, and this is again the offspring of one of them. It's a joint family. And usually the conventional narrative, especially from Africa and Asia, that it is led by the oldest adult female, which is called the matriarch. And there is a lot of variation in it. And these groups sometimes, they start socializing, they join with other families, just like we meet up with our relatives and so on and so forth, and they give rise to bond group or kin group. Bond group means just friends. You get together with your friends in the evening to go for or your family and your friend's family. You get together to have a dinner in the evening, not related to each other. The kin group is when you get together with your relatives. Okay. Now, how do you know whether 2 families that are associating are kin or bonding? Interesting question. I'll come to that a bit later. But we know today that they are mostly kin groups, not necessarily only bond groups. Sometimes, you go to an area, this is taken in Corbett, and my camera could not capture the entire scene. You see a huge cluster of elephants now. There are about 50, 60, 70 elephants all coming in a single line, and they're coming to cross the river. This is what we call a clan. The clan can be, sometimes very small, maybe a few families, but sometimes it can be up to 100 elephants. That could be 10, 12, 15 families all joining together to form a clan. And they show a coordinated movement from one season to another season. You don't get this clan formation all times of the year, certain times. See, like, you all gather at a family function, right? There is a wedding in the family or something else in the family, some other event, and all the families gather together. Today, of course, human families gather in the several hundreds, but the elephants typically gather in the range of about 50 to about 150 elephants, and this is known as a clan. And generally, they are closely, these are families that are associated with each other, spend a lot of their time with each other, and move in a coordinated fashion, in their natural habitat. So this is what initially the African elephant researchers called a multi-tiered fission fusion family. That is, you're not always with your clan of your larger family of 100 or 150 people. Sometimes you are a nuclear family. Sometimes you join together, you meet up with other related families in the evening. So same thing happens with the elephants. Sometimes they split into smaller groups, and sometimes they aggregate into much larger groups for shorter periods of time. And sometimes you get these very large clans come together in African savanna elephant populations. Now, this picture I took more than 10 years ago in Kenya, in a place called Amboseli National Park. I just want to ask you all, How many elephants you think are in this group? Just give me any guess. I'll just take 3 people. Just give a guess. How many elephants are there in this? Huh? 200 is one, then? 150. Okay, excellent. Those are excellent answers because I counted 126 in this. And typically people tend to underestimate. They say 50 or 60 or 70. There are 126 that I could count. And they are so tightly clustered there could actually have been 150 elephants. So you get these huge formations in the African savannas. But surprise of surprises, recently I went to the jungles of the Congo in Central Africa. Just last month I was there and the picture is very different, which I will tell you about. So here, Dr. Vidya, I don't know if she's here, but she's from this center. When she was my student, we did work on the genetic relatedness among elephants that are found together in groups. And she found that adult females in the group are actually genetically related to each other. So it's not just a bonding group, but they are kinship groups, they are kin groups, they are related to each other. And as I told you, these are sort of matriarchal societies. But what happens to them? What happens to the sons in the family, the males in the family? In the old days we used to, the sons always go out, from our families also. They have to be a breadwinner for the family, they have to go and earn their own living. They are sent out, to face all the hardships in the world, except if mothers are very protective of their sons. And sometimes the daughters complain that, the mothers are a little too overprotective of the sons and don't pay that much attention to the daughters. But in elephant families, the sons are sent out. They are sent out, for biological reasons. So they should not reproduce with their own kin. They should go and reproduce with other families. And they are sent out and they wander alone. And this is an adult male. Okay. Now this is definitely more than 30 years old. He has gone out and he is roaming on his own. And he forms his own little clan, just like young men, they hang out together in the evenings in the, the street side, go around in motorcycles causing a nuisance and so on. The elephants, these males also sometimes, very often they cause a lot of nuisance, which I will come to. I'll do a little reality check on how gentle the elephant or how dangerous the elephant can be. But this is a dispersed male, and he wanders. He has got his own social groups, social organization, and so on, and then whole network among other peers, and a very extraordinary kind of social organization that is there among male elephants also, which one of my postdocs has been studying more recently in areas very close to Bangalore. Now, the matriarch or the older females in the family are very, very important. And, I told you there is also work done by Dr. Vidya of the center, at Kabini. I'll just put up 1 or 2 slides of that later. But you can see that this little calf is there. These are probably 2 sisters. First, the role of protection. We have tigers, we have dangerous animals like tigers, sometimes leopards, and so on. They can easily get at the calves. So there is a protective role. There is a caring role. There is a role of what we call allo mother. And there is a role of learning from the elders in the family. This is, see, when the elephant is born, the size of the brain is only about 35% of the full-grown brain size of the elephant. So there's a lot of scope for learning. And learning forms a very important part of how the elephant expresses its behavior later on. Whether it is a aggressive personality, whether it's a timid personality, it's a very gentle personality. Its response to people, to predators, and relationship with other elephants and all that. A lot of behavior, not all behavior. Some of them are coded in the genes, but a lot of it is also learned from others. We all talk about the high degree of sociality in elephants. Okay? And this kind of typifies this. It's a little bit of disturbance. They're disturbed by my presence there. And then they immediately, the 3 adult females, they reach out. Okay, there are 2 young here. They reach out to each other. They are doing what we call tactile communication. They're touching each other for reassurance. We give a pat on the back to, when somebody is distressed, we go and give a little pat on the back. But here I think they're also getting signals, chemical signals from breath, because the trunk, you see, is such a long nose. And it is such a long nose. It's an extraordinary nose in terms of its sense of smell. It's really extraordinary in the elephant, what it can smell out. Much better than that of dogs and so on. So it is also perhaps exchanging information. One is tactile, reassurance and that sort of a thing. Sometimes they make sounds. And and they're probably getting chemical signals to the breath of the others and so on. Okay, so there is a kind of a complex way in which they communicate with each other. And then there are these social networks that form. I don't want you to get into all the statistics and all that, but you can see this is African elephant, savanna elephant, out in the open like Amboseli, I showed you. This is Asian elephant in Sri Lanka. Okay, you can straight away see there are all these different statistical, you don't bother about all that. You can see that this is much more tight, correct? Especially this, at this level of also threshold, whatever, association index threshold, and the Asian elephants have less bonding. African elephants all move together in larger groups and they are tighter. There are reasons for this, because the savannas, the food is available in plenty. You go to these grasslands like Serengeti and Masai Mara, you might have seen these wonderful films on National Geographic and Discovery, a huge amount of food is available. There's no need for them to compete with each other. They have to cooperate with each other in protection of the young, and they have exchange a lot of information, socialize and all that. So they can afford to be in these large groups. And they have to protect their young against lions here. In African savannas, you get lions. Lions can prey upon the calves. So there are a lot of benefits to being in these large groups. One of them is protection of the young against the big predators. Now here also there is, but on the contrary, the food is a little more spread out, a little more sparse. So they have to move around. So the degree of sociality and the bonding and the networking is not so tight. And then this is the work of Dr. Vidya here, a female social network at Kabini, paper published in Animal Behavior by her student S. Nandini and others. And so they find that there is a certain network during the dry season, during the wet season, there are differences, some changes and so on. I'll not get into details of this, but this again you will see is not as tight as that of the African elephant. So the Asian elephants, the bonding, the group size and all of that are a little less fluid, are more fluid compared to that of the African elephant. And Asian elephants don't necessarily follow only one matriarch. At different times they seem to be following different adult females and so on. So the role of a leadership seems to be more by rotation, maybe more democratic than maybe that in the African savanna elephant. Now what about these males? These males leave the family when they are about 12 to 15 years of age. That's when they become mature, they start reproducing. Potentially they can reproduce. They reproduce only when they are about 25 plus, they can potentially. Now, this is a picture taken by one of my students in Hassan district, Sakleshpur. I don't know if anybody from here is from there. These elephants are coming and causing a lot of nuisance. It's an all male group. This has the professor, it has the postdoctoral student, and it has the student, PhD student. Okay, so there is a classroom kind of a situation, small classroom. There are larger classrooms that are there, which I'll show you. All male groups learning from each other, from these hierarchies. The professor is very calm, is a huge tuskless male. The postdoc seems to be admonishing the student here, putting the trunk over and trying to exert the dominance over the student here. It took a lot of difficulty for my student Sanjita to go and brave, because these elephants can be very, very dangerous. And she went into the jungle. You can see all the leaves, and through the leaves, this photograph was taken in Hassan, Sakleshpur, some years ago. But finally, these elephants had to be captured because they became a big nuisance. They started killing people and so on. But this is a small social network. And there is a lot of learning. There is a hierarchy among the males. There's a learning process. So the younger fellows are learning from the older males and so on, various things, Some good things and some bad things also they learn from how to go and raid crops and so on, which is a bad thing. See, just last month, I went to the jungles of the Congo in Central Africa. And I had read about these elephants. They are smaller, they are a different species of elephant. They are smaller than the African savanna elephant. They are even smaller than our Indian elephant. Smaller, and there's a different species. I wanted to go and see it. I said, I worked on elephants for 44 years. I have not gone and observed these elephants. Now, first thing, I'll play a very nice video for you. When you go and look at this, you will find there are about 50, 60 elephants here, right? In this clearing. Now, the picture from Corbett, I showed you all the elephants were together like a clan. Now here, they're all scattered. Why are they all scattered? they are not showing that, the high degree of socializing, bonding, clustering together. They're not seen here. Day and night, I stayed overnight in this platform and I observed one night on a full moon night. Throughout the night, there are 60 to 100 elephants in this clearing. Okay, and I'll just show you there is intense competition. We talk about elephants, socializing and high degree, they are all kind of cooperating with each other. Here there is competition. And the competition is for what? The competition is for these resources, these small pools of water. When elephants are found in a rainforest, they lack one essential nutrient, and that is minerals such as sodium. All of us, are craving for salt. Where does it come from? In the course of our evolution, we evolved in such a way that somehow that we are all prone to sodium deficiency. And therefore we put salt in our food, even though it can cause high blood pressure or whatever. Okay, same thing with these elephants. They're all competing for this because there's a high amount of sodium in this apparently. So they are going and they're, you just see this putting its trunk right inside and trying to get this. This is coming and waiting for its turn. You will hear some sound. Where is the sound? Audio? Okay, it's not played as well as I would have liked it to have, but let me just play it again. Okay, now what are these sounds? These sounds were coming every 10 minutes, 5 minutes, these sounds were coming. So at the beginning I was a bit puzzled. Then I realized that there are these youngsters, all over the place, and they are waiting for their turn and they're not being allowed by the older elephants. You would think that you care for your young children, etc., etc. All these rules break down there. They're all waiting for their turn and they are protesting. 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, they're all roaring and they're in frustration because they also want to go and get that water and the salt. It's a great learning experience. For 1 week I spent here, I spent 10 days, saw gorillas and various other things. It takes quite a journey to go to this forest here. There is one place in the world which is wonderful. I will show you, okay, next I will show you. Yeah, this is almost over now, so we'll get the same thing. Then I'll go to the next slide. And the males, I told you our males all cooperate with each other, right? Yeah. Now, you look here. There is a lot of competition among them. You see this big male. He's coming and chasing away all these other elephants. Families, other males, they all go. It's a temporary. Just for 2 or 3 minutes, then he goes back to drink, then the others come back and join. So, this was a very, very learning experience. So, the message from this is very, very simple. And the behavior of animals is tuned to the environment and the resources that are available. So, what we think is not coded in the genes, as something that cannot change, that under conditions of environmental stress or when there is a need for acquiring resources which are scarce in the environment, animals change their behavior. So this was the big lesson. You don't find these big family groups, you find very small families, one mother and just 1 or 2 children, sometimes 2 sisters together. That's all that we saw. And they are scattered, they are competing, etc., etc. So great learning experience. Just last month, exactly a month ago, I was at this place and just came back from that. Okay, now what do these males do? The males, they leave their families and go. And then they start exhibiting a physiology called mast. Mast is a Urdu term. It means in the south we call it madam, Tamil, Kannada maybe. And this is mast. Now during mast, what happens is the entire physiology changes. These male elephants now, they have high levels of the male sex hormone, testosterone. And they start exhibiting, showing this, there is a gland here, and they call the mast gland, and this liquid starts coming out. It's a chemical signal. It's a chemical signal to other males. He's challenging other males. Other males will not come and normally not challenge a male in mast. And this happens typically once a year. It happens once a year. It is recognized in early times in Asia. If you read Matanga Leela of Nilakanta, which is about 1000 years old, it says excitement, swiftness, odor, love, passion, complete fluorescence of the body, wrath, prowess, and fearlessness are declared to be the 8 excellences of must. See, it's only 20 or 30 years ago, modern scientists now described must. Exactly these 8 words refer to all that we know about must today. Swiftness, he moves at a fast pace. He's not staying at one place. He's moving from herd to herd, looking for females with whom to reproduce. Odor, it's a chemical signaling. Love, passion, he's looking for the females. Complete fluorescence of the body, because testosterone levels are very high. Prowess, fearlessness, he doesn't care about other males, even if the other male is older, larger than him. This is described 1000 years ago. And then Aini Akbari of Abul Fazl, and they're very interesting. The Badar, these are different body types, elephants that are well-rounded, that are lean, and so on and so forth. The Badar ruts in Libra and Scorpio, the Mand in spring, the Mirg in Capricorn, and Sagittarius, and Mir in any season. We know today that if you take a population and you have many dozens of male elephants, different male elephants will generally space out their must. They are different times of the year. Because if all come into must at the same time of the year, they'll be fighting and killing each other. So you can apply something called game theory. You can apply game theory, you can actually mathematically model this and show that the must would be spaced out. The most favorable season, the big dominant males will come into must, like the wet season, and so on. And other younger males will come into must during the dry season. That's what happens. Now, the chemical signal I told you, the must male is preferred by the female for reproducing. And you can see that this female is now testing the must gland of this particular male, which are taken in Kaziranga. So this is the function of the must male. Now, when it comes to modes of communication, you have visual communication in elephants. These elephants sometimes stand tall with their, these must males, the majestic way they walk. It's like a visual display that, okay, I am large, please don't interfere with me. The second is tactile. I told you touch, and I showed you those females touching each other. Olfactory, chemical, I gave you some examples. The last is vocal. And there are some very, very interesting, the language of elephants. Can we understand the language of elephants? Again, I've had students who have been working on this and postdocs who have been working on this. I'll just play a few things. You can read what is there, trumpet. This is the most common thing that you will hear. Okay, so this is the most common call that you will hear. In many behavioral contexts, from disturbance to social interactions, are observed in all age classes. Sorry, okay. Then the chirp. The chirp is something not many people recognize. Now, this is when an elephant is disturbed. It is in confusion as to what to do. You suddenly go along a road and you turn and suddenly you surprise an elephant. Okay, it gives out this call. And right, you don't hear this all the time. You hear it only sometimes. Okay, but this is a distress call or a call of confusion, self-doubt. What should I do? Kind of a call. It's called a chirp. And all the sound spectrograms and all that don't worry. I put out all that for you. Observed in juveniles, subadults, adults, all of them. This roar is something that grand call. This is grand. Sorry, this is a very grand call. And I'll play this to you. And okay, so it's blood chilling call. If you hear a elephant roaring at very short distance, you hear this in the evening. If you are in the forest, in the evening there are long distance calls, and it's almost like an orchestra. You get one roar from one side, another family is roaring from the other side, and then they all come and meet up together, and so on and so forth. Okay, I've heard this many times. And then the elephants all come and join together in the evening, socialize and so on. This is very, very interesting. It's called a rumble. Now, this is a low frequency sound that you're not supposed to hear. Our ears can hear between, does everybody know? 20 to 20,000 hertz. Yeah, you're all excellent science students. 20 to 20,000 hertz, excellent. Now, this sound goes below our fundamental frequency, maybe 17, maybe 16. Okay. Now, it's like a throbbing sound. Yeah, you can hear it. I'll just play it once again for you because this is a sound that you may not commonly recognize. Okay. Now, the first time I heard this was in 1981. I had parked my little Jeep very close to a water hole and waiting for the elephants to come from the other side of the water hole. And there was a road behind me, some meters away. I heard this call and I thought that a motorcycle was coming down the road. So I was looking towards that water pond, the pool. Suddenly I just turned back and there is this big male in musk that is just walking from behind and coming. And I am trapped between the elephant and the water hole. I just froze. That elephant didn't bother. He just passed like this and went to the water hole and got pictures and all that. So I did not know it was infrasound because I had not been trained in the physics of sound and so on. But later on it was described and we can now, it's a very complex set of calls. Low frequency, because low frequency means it can go longer distances without attenuation. It's not cut. Okay. So in the forest area, it can travel for 5 kilometers. And sometimes the atmospheric condition is like they say, it can go for 50 kilometers also, under certain atmospheric conditions. Therefore, these are long distance contact calls. Sorry. Okay. Now, we all talk about the extraordinary elephant. So, does it have a superior brain? The elephant is obviously a very intelligent creature and so on. I'll just play a couple of small videos for you and then you can take your own call on it. This is an female elephant's response to a dying calf. This is called a thanatological behavior. It's called see how much effort the mother is putting in trying to, comfort the elephant, raise the elephant, etc., etc. It's almost like human care or care of primates of the young ones and so on and so forth. So they are obviously very, very sensitive creatures. They are what we call highly sentient beings and so on and so forth. And so that is one. And then if the calf is dead, if it's unfortunate if the calf is dead, then I'll just show you another video. Sorry. Yeah. You see the elephant is carrying something in its trunk. It's a little difficult to see it because of the vegetation. The calf is dead and the elephant is carrying the calf for several days. It refuses to let go of the calf. So there seems to be something like an awareness of death and the inevitability that this is not going to come back to life. And the mother does not want to let go of the calf. So there are all these very profound types of behaviors that the elephant show. And definitely, when you try to classify, its cognition, its brain capacity, and so on and so forth, you obviously are going to place it, on a very high pedestal overall. And people may argue one way or the other, when you compare it with chimpanzees or gorillas or dolphins and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, that's the kind of case. Okay, and this is a paper that we published very recently. In fact, more than 80 media, right from New York Times to BBC and CNN, picked up this, viewing the rare through public lenses, insights into dead calf carrying and other technology using YouTube videos. So you can do your science. We had some recordings, but we supplemented this just on YouTube videos that had been uploaded. And we did a detailed analysis of this and we got this paper published in Royal Society Open Science. So you can do a lot of science today from information that is available in the public domain to you. Now the sad part of this thing, the elephant-human relationship today is that conflicts are escalating. And you will be reading about it in the papers almost on a regular basis. Arikomban, Kerala, the rice-raiding elephant. Crop depredation is very widespread and crores of rupees are damaged. And in India alone, 500 people are killed by elephant each year. It's growing. When I did my PhD in the 80s, 125, today 500, so 4 times. Now, again an extraordinary elephant. This is again a elephant, Bengali elephant. Siliguri, in the town of Siliguri, I don't know if you know the second largest town in West Bengal, it, a tuskless male, it comes into a shopping mall, a wild elephant, and it is playing havoc with all the motorcycles and so on. I don't think it was partial to a Hindu festival. I'm sure if a festival of any other religion, also it would have come and done the same thing. So it would have had a gala time. Again, the extraordinary thing was that the department, the wildlife department, was able to tranquilize it and lead it back into the forest without anybody being harmed. That was the extraordinary thing in this. And this has captivated more than anything else in the media in recent weeks, I would say months. Captured in Arikomban. Has anybody not heard about Arikomban? Did anybody heard about this Arikomban elephant? You all have heard about Arikomban in Kerala, okay? It was captured and put in Periyar, and I was actually there some time ago. But it came out into a town called Kambam. It again started pushing houses, taking food grains. It was captured again in Tamil Nadu and now relocated to a place called the Kalakad Muntanturai Tiger Reserve in the Agastyamalai Hills in the extreme south. And he seems to be settling down there. But this brings up a big debate about whether we should capture elephants and keep it in captivity or not. And I will touch upon it at the very end. Now what happens is, to meet their food requirements, elephants eat almost anything. They'll eat the bark, they'll eat grass, they will eat roots of things, they eat fruits, they even eat fruits and get drunk. It's not only humans that are fond of alcohol. Very often the elephants, the country-made liquor, the rice brew that they make in villages like in Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, these elephants, and people live in mud houses, and they go and push it, and they go and drink the liquor, and they stagger and have a gala time and all that. Sometimes, it's not so nice when people meet up with them. Sometimes they feed on garbage because all the tidbits that are very, very unfortunate. It's Sri Lanka, but this happens in India too. Now it's increasingly in India. So garbage management is very, very important, outside towns. Otherwise, we will attract the attention of the elephants there. Now, I will not talk about this. Okay. And raiding of cultivated crops. You can see all the houses in the background, and you see the paddy fields this is in the state of West Bengal, and again the same thing here, these elephants are coming and raiding crops. And if you go from Bangalore to Chennai, 40, 50 years ago when I used to go, there was not a single elephant crossing the highway. Now the elephants are crossing from Hosur, they're going toward Chittoor in Andhra. And large herds like this, at least twice a year, they go and they come back, and these are causing major problems. Sometimes a fast-moving vehicle like a truck may come and collide with them, elephants die, sometimes people die, all kinds of things are happening. But again, elephant-human conflict is ancient. This is from the Udayagiri caves in Odisha. You can see this elephant and you can see people confronting the elephant. First century, okay, this is cave number 2 in Udayagiri, very close to Bhubaneswar. I said this is the first depiction in art of conflict between elephants and people. First depiction in art. A lot of other wonderful art like Gajalakshmi and so on are also there in Bhubaneswar. This is again old, the conflict is old. Gajasastra of sage Palkapya from 5th century talks about elephants raiding crops in the kingdom of Anga, which is today present-day Bihar. And the Tamil Sangam poems speak of male elephants raiding the millet fields and the farmers keeping guard at night. Okay, 2000 years ago. Now, if I may use, Ganesha himself is a deity born out of conflict. Why? Ganesha has a broken tusk. How does an elephant break its tusks? By clashing with another elephant, so it's in conflict with another elephant. You can see the pot belly of Lord Ganesha. He eaten a lot of food, maybe raided a lot of crops. So I am very fond of saying that Ganesha is a deity. It's about 1500 years old. The idea of Ganesha is a deity born of conflict. Now the causes of conflict are very many. So you say habitat is lost. Forests are replaced by plantations like this is in the island of Borneo. Forest like this has been replaced with oil palm. Back closer to home, mining in central India, iron ore mining, this totally devastated the habitat. And what would elephants be able to feed here? Nothing at all. And then we have this plant, I don't know how many of you recognize this, Lantana camara, one of the worst invasive plants in the world. It has choked our forests. And the grasses had disappeared. And because of this, it's an invasive plant that comes from Central America. So ecology of restoration is very important. But most important thing is that elephants like the cultivated crops because they are like supermarkets. They're able to go and get a lot of food. And they have these cultivated grasses like paddy and ragi have much higher levels of protein and sodium. You remember I told you about Central Africa where the elephants go for the high content of sodium in the water. This goes back to my PhD. 85 is my PhD thesis, and later corroborated by many studies in Africa that elephants are going out and raiding crops because primarily because one of the reasons is that they are driven to it by the superior nutrition they are getting from that. And it is these male elephants again, that are the mischief makers. They're much more likely to raid crops for various reasons, because these males have to grow larger in body size, they get better nutrition, they have to come into must, and then the females prefer these males. So, there is a lot of intrinsic biological factors that make these male elephants more likely to raid crops. Females also go and raid crops, but in intact habitats, it's the male elephants. Now, these males, I told you there are these hierarchies, they associate with each other, and these groups are now growing larger and larger. I recorded 4 male elephants during my study 40 years ago. My postdoc now has recorded 12, 15, 17. This Tumkur district. This is nowhere, there's not elephant habitat there. This is all totally agricultural area. These are all coconut. So what these elephants do, in the night they will go and during the daytime they will hide in the lake. And in the night they will come out and they will raid the crops. Okay. And this is a novel adaptive strategy because the farmers can't harm these elephants when they are in the middle of this huge lake. Nobody can go and do anything to the elephant. Whole day, 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening, they go and to the center of the lake and they stay put there. After sunset, they will come out and they will raid crops. And the group size increases. More crop available, larger the group size. And you see these large groups, all male groups. Okay, one or two of them are tuskless, but these big groups are now forming. They are adapting to the fact that we have now created more agriculture, more productive land, irrigation, and so on and so forth. And their body condition improves. And this is the elephant taking refuge in the lake during the night time. Now, we try to look at stress. When the elephants come in conflict, the farmers chase the elephants. Okay, so elephants are stressed out. How do you measure the level of stress? There is these glucocorticoids, which is hormones. All of us have it. All mammals have it. And from the dung, you can measure a particular derivative or a metabolite of it. And if I show you this picture, one elephant is well built. The other elephant looks like it's starving. Now, which is in the national park and which is outside the national park? When I ask a quiz, they'll say the well-fed elephant is in Bandipur and this is outside Bandipur. That's what people normally say. It's total opposite. This elephant is outside Bandipur, this is inside Bandipur. Therefore, these elephants are going and raiding crops because they are getting better nutrition outside. And that also helps them to keep the levels of the glucocorticoid metabolite down. So elephants that are outside the national park have lower levels of the stress hormone glucocorticoid. Very, very intuitive result that we got, and we published this paper in Animal Conservation a few years ago. These elephants are taking these great risks because they are getting a lot of benefit. So cost-benefit ratios, every species evaluates cost-benefit ratios, and that's something you need to keep in mind. Now, chasing an elephant is not very effective like people do. This is near Hosur. You see this lead elephant. You see the ears all spread out, and she has turned. Very dangerous sign. Anytime the hunters might become the hunted. We go dig trenches like this. The elephant is performing. I never believed, 30 years of work on elephant, I never believed that the anatomy of an elephant could make it climb like this till I saw this picture. I never believed it, but it can do circus speeds. Technology, he's a physicist. He knows that the soles of the feet are poor conductors of electricity. This is an electric fence. So using the feet, the soles, they are poor conductors to press the electric fence and then cross. Or they know that the tusks are poor conductors. So they also know the science of physics now, of electricity. Right? And look at this by habit, what this elephant is doing. It is coming, the fence is already down. Just see how it crosses this. Okay. The trunk is up. Yeah. So these are remote camera traps that we set up near places where these elephants come. And it's really extraordinary to see these elephants indulge in this behavior. Now, now what we do is, we scientists go and put GPS collars. It's like a GPS unit like you have on your mobile phone. And you can track it through the GSM, the signal comes through a mobile phone. And we can track the movement. Maybe thinking that the villagers can be warned. But then, look at this. Now, 1 minute. I hope that internet connection is there. This might take I'll send the link to anybody. This is a collared elephant of ours. Let's put a radio collar. All these foolish men in Assam are going very close to it. And the elephant has turned on them and the elephant is chasing them. Okay. Sorry, somehow it's not, I don't know what's happened there. It requires, it's a YouTube video, but I'll skip this. I'll just go to the next one. Yeah. So, I'm just going to end this very, very soon now, another 2 or 3 minutes. So, this thing of the final verdict of the scientist is that in contrast to what one might expect from a large brain species, the performance of elephant in cognitive feats such as tool use and so on and so forth is unimpressive compared to chimpanzees and of course humans. That comparison I don't think is a fair comparison. Where elephants seem to excel is in long-term, extensive spatio-temporal and social memory. Okay, and they seem to be somewhat unique among human species in their reactions to disabled and diseased conspecifics, that is thanatology, dead animals and so on, exhibiting behaviors that are mindful of theory of mind phenomena. So there is something certainly special about the elephant. Now we put radio collars and we follow the movement of this elephant. In North Bengal, this is an elephant with a collar. She's just getting up after the counter drug is given. And she described a home range of about 1,000 square kilometers. 1,000. So that's a scale at which you should plan for elephant conservation. This kind of information by putting the GPS collar, following the movement. She used to go into Nepal in the night without a visa or a passport, then come back to the Indian side during the daytime. And regularly, you can see this, all these movements were at night, about 1,000 square kilometers. And the last question I'm asking is there a role for captive elephants? Elephants in captivity. There's a section of the animal rights, animal welfare community that believes that we should not keep any elephant in captivity. And I think one of the greatest services that the Elephant Whisperers did, the film that won the Oscar, they showed the close bonding between our tribal or indigenous people and the elephants. And sometimes that is being challenged by others. I was at an India Today conclave recently where I said the close bonding and the relationship between our indigenous people, the tribals and the elephant has been grossly underappreciated. We have had this long history and some of our forest camps, you have been to Mudumalai and you have seen it, have some of the best welfare standards and I see nothing wrong in it. We have this tradition of taming elephants that goes back to the Harappan times. Elephant, Pasupati, so-called Pasupati seal. You see buffalo, you see rhino, you see an elephant, there is something sacred about an elephant and the tiger. And the Bodhisattva, the reincarnation of a sacred white elephant, the Buddha himself is a reincarnation of a sacred white elephant. From the Ajanta cave painting, one of my favorite paintings of all time, the Chaddanta Jataka. Okay, it's a story by itself. Please go and read the Chaddanta Jataka story. And we have had kings in the past capturing elephants using the army. This is a Hoysala. This is from Somnathpur, our own Hoysala architecture. The 4 divisions of the ancient army, foot soldiers, chariots, cavalry and elephants have been used for hundreds of years. We are not going to capture them for use in the army and put them to torture, but maintain welfare standards and very selectively, wisely use these elephants, wherever necessary and thereby reduce conflict. That is my... Now, the last slide is climate change. I'm just only flagging this. Climate change is going to make a lot of impacts in the future on the habitat, on agriculture, on forests, on grassland and everywhere, including for the elephants. And this may trigger elephant movements out and there might be increase in conflict with people and agriculture. And this is something that we have to be prepared for. At the very end, my suggestion is that you preserve elephants through sensible landscape scale conservation planning. And 30 years ago, I had the privilege of designing these project elephant reserves for South India for conservation of elephants in the long term. That should be the future of the elephants. Thank you very much, and thank you very much. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much for that wonderful talk. If you allow, we will take few questions.
Certainly. Why not?
Yes. So we will take few questions. Yes, please. Yeah, Vinayak.
Hello.
ನಾವು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ಬೆಲೆಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಪಳಗಿಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರೂ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಕ್ಸೀಡ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದರೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತು ಆನೆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆನೆಗಳಿಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜು ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವೊಂದು ಅದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸಹಿತ ಆನೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮಾತು ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಫೇಲ್ ಆದರು. ಬಟ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಸಕ್ಸೀಡ್ ಆಗೋದಂತ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ.
I think there are two things you need to do, if I understood exactly what the question was, that you have to first educate people. You have to educate people to be very careful when around elephants. Elephants can be dangerous. Not do foolish things like that video which I could not play. It's a YouTube video. I could not connect to the internet. When they were going too close and they were being chased by our collared elephant, Rongali in Assam. Therefore, educate people to be very, very careful. The second is that I very strongly have recommended to the government, and the High Court of Karnataka has accepted my recommendation 10 years ago, that there are certain areas in Karnataka which have no place for elephants because it's human dominated. And therefore elephants have been captured and removed, but we should block the elephants from coming back to those places. So that is the way of doing it, but people have to be careful, and people have to be educated as to how to avoid elephants. That's my short answer, but I'll talk to you later. Please.
This is not a question. This is my own experience about human and elephant relationship. My uncle, my father's eldest brother, was an elephant doctor. He was the elephant doctor and the elephant officer with the king of Mysore. And he would go and he would talk to them. He would say, "Hey Drona, how are you?" And the Drona would do this. And it was so fantastic, the stories he would say. And unfortunately, he said the worst thing that we did to the elephants was the Keda operations, where they would be made to fall into a deep pit, and then that is the conflict between getting them out and all that. But the other is how easily you could connect with them, and so affectionate. And in fact, he was such a popular elephant doctor. He was invited by the king of Jaipur to be the elephant doctor for his elephants. So it's a very, very interesting animal. We completely underestimate it because of its huge size and think that they're not insensitive. And my only question I have is, why is this expression, elephantine memory has come? That's the question I have.
A good question, Mrs. Rao. I think for a very long-lived creature, it would have to be equipped with an elephantine memory, a long-term memory. And I think a lot of that memory today, the evidence is it comes from chemical signals. It has got a memory of the chemistry of individuals that it knows, and so on and so forth. And there are some examples of where, a cow or a young elephant has been separated from its mother for many years. And then when they are rejoined, it immediately recognizes it. So there seems to be some kind of a chemical signaling basis for such kind of memory. That's the best that I can say right now.
There is another thing about elephant being used to settle a dispute about who the real king was. You remember that story? Where there were two people claiming to the throne, and an elephant had to be brought to decide who the real king was. So they used the elephant's memory.
Yeah, I think we have used the elephant in all kinds of different aspects in our human life, civilization, decision making. I don't think there's another creature like the Indian elephant, See, African elephants been tamed to a very small extent and so on. But that kind of a close bonding relationship, was never there. And I always say that the relationship that we have had with the elephant, that kind of a relationship between humans and an animal has never existed between any other creature and in true human history is unlikely to arise in the future ever. That's the tribute that I can give to the elephant. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes. Yeah.
Last two questions.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Anjali of 10 Chandan from School Chandan Lakshmeshwar. My question is, why are the elephants are called as ecosystem engineers, sir?
Ecosystem engineers is very, very interesting. Okay. See, what elephants do is they make a big impact on the habitat. They push over trees. When they push over a tree, what happens is they feed a little bit on the bark and the leaves and they go away. But then the deer come. The deer cannot reach up to the canopy of a tree, right, or a higher up branch. They come and then they start feeding on it. So it is aiding another species in feeding. Sometimes, during a drought, when you have the rainfall is very low, and I experienced this in 1982, when along the stream, dry stream, the elephants will go and use their feet and their trunk and they'll dig water holes where the water will seep in. And that seepage water you will drink. Now, all the other animals like the deer and smaller creatures will be waiting. Once the elephants move away, they will go and they will drink the water. They have no other way of getting that water source. It's only the elephant is capable of digging that, seepage pit in a dry stream bed. So there are many reasons. They disperse fruits of many trees. Therefore, they are called ecosystem engineers.
Good morning to you all. I'm Nirmala of 10 Chandan. I'm from School Chandan Lakshmeshwar. My question is that, sir, why elephants are essential to our ecosystem?
No, I think that I've answered that because she said they are ecosystem engineers. So they are making so much of impact. They are able to help the survival of many other creatures that share the habitat with them. So that's one of the reasons why they are important. Not only animals, but also the dispersal and establishment of tree species, because they feed on very large fruits. Nothing else can feed on very large fruits. They disperse the seeds. So they aid in regeneration of the forest and the survival of other creatures.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Vinayak, last question.
Yeah, sir. Infrasound long distance communication by elephants, is it just folklore or is there some science there?
No, there is science in it. There is science in it today. There have been very detailed measurements now being made of the distance to which the infrasound is carried. And definitely infrasound can be recorded a few kilometers away. And there were some papers from southern Africa in the semi-arid region where under certain atmospheric conditions, they say that infrasound is actually transmitted for up to 50 kilometers. Yeah, these are actual measurements that are made and peer-reviewed publications are there. Yeah. That is one last, yeah. Just ask.
Yeah.
No, white color. See, elephants can essentially see in shades of gray. They don't have color vision. They have very, very limited color vision. So what happens when you have a white or when you have a red or a black? It stands out in contrast. So if you have anything in between in the spectrum, color spectrum, then you're okay. But the white stands out. It has poor vision. But it can see the white very, very easily. It can pick up the white from the background, gray very easily. That's the reason.
Due to paucity of time, we have to stop here. I'm sure each one of you has number of questions. Please do interact with our distinguished speaker after the the event. So now, thank you very much for introducing extraordinary elephant through your extraordinary talk. So on behalf of On behalf of C.N.R. Rao Education Foundation, specifically from Bharat Ratna Professor C.N.R. Rao and Dr. Mrs. Indumati Rao and the entire family, so we would like to offer a small shawl. And,
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, now I'll request Vinayak to give the second vote of thanks quickly, and then we will go for a photo just outside this Mother Mohan Maulya hall, and then we will disperse for lunch.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. It was a wonderful talk. Okay, on behalf of C.N.R. Hall of Science and Education Technology Unit and C.N.R. Education Foundation and JNCASR, we express our thanks to Professor Raman Sukumar for giving us wonderful and interesting lecture. It was very extraordinary, and you took us to the world of the elephant, actually. Thank you. And we thank the President JNCASR, Professor G.U. Kulkarni, for extending his support and facilities for this program. Our thanks are due to Professor T. Govindraju, Chair, Education Technology Unit, for his all-time support. We thank Mr. Dwarkanath and Ms. Supriya and Ram Rao, and for the coordinating with the schools and colleges in Bangalore to participate in today's program. We thank the principals, students, teachers for the participating in today's event from the various institutions. We thank the supporting staff and administration for providing the infrastructure, facilities, and administrative support for this program. I thank my technical team, my colleague Praveen, Ramya, Dilip, Munegowda, Peer, and always security team to arrange this, all the facilities. And thank you once again. And one more thing I would like to tell you. Group photo ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಜೊತೆ ಓಕೆ ಲಿಸನ್ ಯು ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ಎರಡೇ ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಪಿನ್ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಪಿನ್ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Yeah, I know. I'll just close my computer. Just a minute. Oh, thank you.
ವೈಟಲ್ಲೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಕೇಳಿ ಸರ್ ಹಾಂ